George K with Action Coach, and we've got another Entrepreneur Spotlight interview for you. We've got a wonderful guest, Martine Laforêt. Martine, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, George.
So, Martine, we've known each other for quite a while, but of course, the people listening don't. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background? How did you get to where you are now? And then we can talk about Onua.
Okay, yes. Well, I will try to make it really short because I have quite a long career. Maybe I have I just hide my gray hair.
Yeah, we're lucky guys. We don't have to worry about that. Well, at least
Yeah,
most of us don't
exactly.
worry about that.
Well, I began my career by completing a bachelor of degree in marketing at HEC Montréal. After graduation, I started in sales roles at Procter & Gamble as well as Kodak Canada.
Wow.
Eventually, I moved into marketing position at L'Oréal Canada as well as Rothschild Saint-Hubert in the retail division.
Wow.
Well, despite my achievement, I realized that my creativity and talent were not always recognized to their full potential. So this motivated me to launch my first business, which was a training firm specializing in communication skills.
Okay, so I'm going to pause you there for a second and ask you this.
Yes.
Because I think this is valuable for people. A lot of the people that come on the show, they've left corporate world and because of one reason or another. If you were going to give advice to somebody who was thinking about leaving their corporate life, their corporate world, and
Yes.
jump into entrepreneurialism, what advice would you give them? What would you ask them to do, to think about, to prepare before they make the jump? I think that's a very valuable thing, especially with all your years of hindsight.
Well, I would say, of course, I wasn't that prepared when I start my first business. I just look the marketing and I look the market and I try to figure out what could I bring to the market and what was the needs in the market actually. So you had to first to find out an idea and then work with that idea and then go ahead. At the beginning, communication skills is something really strong for me. So, and I was talking with other people, and that's why I came with that idea to just bring a new firm about communication skills. So yeah.
Create an idea, test it out, talk to people about it. I would imagine maybe some financial planning before you decide to quit your job was probably a good idea. Or
Well,
you just
I just jumped. I just jumped.
You're a real entrepreneur. That's good.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Okay.
So after
So
that,
you graduated. Yes. So you graduated to a full entrepreneur. You created this training system, and yes. I know you didn't stop there. So what was the peak of that training business, and what made you move to the next thing?
After 7 years, I had the feeling that I, know well the garden somehow,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I sold my company and I had a new challenge, which was a general manager for a manufacturing company specialized in industrial equipment. So
You like challenges.
Yes, I do. I really like challenges. You're absolutely right, George. So I quit. I just sold my company to someone else, and then I just jumped in that new position as a general manager. For me, it was a really great challenge. And you know what? I trade my high heels for a steel-toed boots. And it went very well, by the way. And during that time, I improved my skills in finance as well as human resource. Um, I negotiate loans and grants and manage cash flow, implement some, system to motivate my employees. And so as so and drive the performance of them.
Wow,
So yeah,
that's
uh,
amazing.
it was
So
a really huge challenge for me. Yeah.
a lot of the careers, your career path is been in industries that are heavily dominated by men. What would you say to female entrepreneurs when it comes to managing in an environment that's dominated by men? I mean, I'm not trying to make this about sexism. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, from a tactical point of view, what advice would you give to young female entrepreneurs? I know the world is different now than it was 10, 15
Mm.
years ago when you were coming up, but what advice would you give? I mean, things have changed, but not that much.
Just stay yourself. Be
Mm,
honest with you, just stay yourself. Yes, industrial equipment market was really a male industry, male environment. And I had no problem to deal with them and to have things done. And even my employees was more male than female. And I had fun and I had respect from my colleagues, male colleagues. So I didn't have any specific issue. Yes, I know. Well, I had some clients who were really uncomfortable with ladies.
mm-hmm.
What can I say?
But I
I
think that
just,
advice about I think the advice about being yourself and
yes,
not getting too hung up on it, not getting too focused on it, and of
yes.
course the idea of professionalism. If you act in a professional way, then of course you gain the respect of your team, and I think that goes a long way to solving a lot of problems.
Yes, and I would say male environmental um, prefer ladies which they know where they're going
Mm,
somehow.
I think everybody
If
does
you're
that.
yeah, well, if you're too shy or something like that or uncomfortable, even if it's a male or female environmental, people will feel it. So just be
Confidence.
confident and keep going and
Yeah,
you'll
great
be
advice.
successful. Yeah.
Great advice. So you've launched a few businesses, you've exited a couple of businesses. What has been the motivation? Well, why don't we start by telling us what your latest
Business.
project is? Tell
Yeah.
us about Onua.
Onua is my third business for now.
For
And
now, I like the way she said that. For now,
for
there
now,
might be more.
we never know. And well, what really motivated me to start this one? I don't know if it's about age or what, but I would like to make a difference for our planet. I'm really concerned about climate changes, actually. And I'm concerned about the future generations coming on this planet. So I was wondering what could I do or to bring something or help somehow. So what I did is I just turned my longtime hobby into a business. For
I love that.
7 years, I'm doing gardening with aquaponic garden, different sizes, different design, and so on. And I'm having fun to gardening with the aquaponic system. So I developed this new garden you see in my back, actually, and we're selling this garden to businesses, actually.
Wow. I
Yeah.
love the fact that I mean, one of the things that we tell young people when they're thinking about their careers or thinking about, an entrepreneurial journey, we tell them match your passions, right? The things you're interested in and your skill sets.
Yes,
And it
exactly.
sounds like this has been a perfect marriage of the two because obviously you had to design that thing, you're building it, you're producing it, so I love the way that you've married, a lot of your past experiences with your passion and your desire to change the world is a beautiful one. So we need
Yeah.
more people like you out there doing that. So, and there are a lot, and I think that the world is getting better and better because of entrepreneurs like you. It's just that They don't talk about those people in the news, but we'll get into that. That's another subject. That's another subject.
I
Okay, so
agree.
what has been your greatest learning in terms of your entrepreneurial journey, be it with Onua or any of the other endeavors that you have done till date?
Um, I would say that I'm not exception to the rule. What I
Mm,
mean by that, I must follow the market. When I was coach, I was a business coach before, I used to say to my client, um, when they were launching a new product or a new service, I often advise them to test the market first and then pay close attention to the feedback they receive, you know?
don't fall in love with your idea.
Exactly. So some of them did not really appreciate this approach. They prefer to jump in straight ahead into, big marketing efforts and so on. But in reality, this is always the best way to approach the market. Listen carefully, identify the signal, and then that helps you to refine your direction. For example, at the beginning with Onua World, I thought that was I were able to sell it to consumer, but I hit a price issue. So then, okay, I'm really comfortable in business environmental, So I switched to sell it to business and different type of businesses. And I just listen and actually what it really surprised me, and on the other hand, it doesn't surprise me that much, but my garden actually is sold as a powerful marketing tool.
Mhm. Yeah,
At the
I love it.
beginning, I thought that people would buy it for, growing vegetable. Well, yes, but lots of it, yes, they're buying because it's really a powerful marketing
It
tool.
sends a great message.
Yes, because the garden itself, it's an ecosystem, which is a miniature copy of our planet, our nature ecosystem.
Hmm.
So when you understand how it works in a aquaponic garden, you know how our planet works. So yeah.
So this
And
goes into my next question.
yes,
So as a business, so who's one of your target audiences? Who would be one of your target audiences?
actually, all businesses who
So
really,
let's say a hotel, for example. So a
oh,
hotel's interested in this.
yes,
What problems are you solving for that hotel? If a hotel is interested in a new
oh,
world, what
yes.
problem would you be solving for them?
Well,
Aside from the marketing one. I mean, the marketing one
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
obvious.
yeah, yes. I will explain to you. When I approached first the hotels, different owners of hotels told me then, and I even done a market research on that. Hotels for more than 10 years, they're doing specific action to reduce their footprint for our planet, which
Correct.
is great.
Yep.
But when you walk in a hotel, you don't see anything. You
Nope.
don't know they changed the light. You don't know they have a new system for the water. You have no clue.
Yep. It's
It
not
doesn't
visible.
exactly. So the garden will bring them, it will bring attention for their visitors,
I love
and
it.
they'll stop by because first everyone asking the question why the water thing is at the bottom of the garden, why not as the top as usually with other aquarium. Well, there's a specific mean behind that. So people will stop, and then yes, we have a poster on the side explaining how it works, and in the meanwhile we share with hotels exactly what else they're doing, you
I
know.
love it. It
Yeah.
becomes a porte d'entrée. It becomes an entry point for the conversation with the client.
Yes, I even have a hotel who organized a green tour with their visitors, and they were so impressed of the visitors' reaction
That's a great idea.
because most of the visitors, when you go to a hotel, you have no clue what they're doing. at
No,
all.
no.
So, and up on the top of it, the visitors, they were really great. You know, they were really thankful for that tour. They really appreciate that. But they had the impression that hotel, that's the only one,
Mm.
which is wrong. Eh, Most of the hotels does action for our planet. So
Yeah, they're just maybe not marketing it appropriately.
yes, I understand that because sustainability is not your core business.
Yeah.
Hotels, you share, you know, your services, how nice area or, you know, activities around the hotels or even, you know, the facilities of the hotel. You're going to market that first. You won't market your sustainability program. No.
Yeah, I think the only thing we typically see when we check into a hotel is things like, don't wash your towels, don't ask to have your towels washed, or we're trying to save water. So, that's about all we typically see in
Yes,
a hotel environment when it comes to, their
exactly.
environmental footprint.
But it's
So
much
I get that.
more than that. And other type of businesses is the same also. You could be a lawyer firm,
Hmm.
but you're doing stuff also for the you know, to reducing your footprint. So why not, you know, having a garden to show exactly, and even for the employees, they're
Hmm.
proud of it, to
Yeah.
show to their customer, you know, we're doing stuff for our planet. So yes, the garden, it comes,
So I've got a question for you. Is it
yes.
interactive? So it's a garden. Can you pick from the garden?
Oh, what do you, what do you mean by,
So let's say
yes,
you're growing cherries or you're growing tomatoes or can
yes.
you can you interact with it? Can you take a tomato? Can you take a
Oh,
cherry?
yes.
Like,
Oh, yeah, 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 sure.
okay,
They're real fruit, the
okay,
real vegetable or fruit. It's a large variety, by the way, with the garden. You can grow vegetable, herbs, um, fruits, flowers, indoor plants. You can even start growing tree. And then, of course, you will
replant
have
them. Yeah, yeah.
exactly outside.
Wow,
But we
like a
organize,
nursery. Wow, that's
yes,
amazing.
exactly. And we also organize different workshop with different clients. We have clients who really require some workshops. So we have some people comes in and organize a workshop and talk about gardening and so on. It's really interesting. Or I have in a hotel, they will take a vegetable from them or in they're going to bring into the kitchen, or
Wow,
some other people would just share with their community organization locally.
I love it. I
Even
love
with
it.
even school,
Yeah, that's amazing.
we have some private school who bought the garden. It's a
That's amazing.
great educational tool, by the way.
I love
It
it.
comes with a mobile application to manage the garden.
Beautiful. Okay, so
Yes.
what's the future for a Onua World? So let's say you had a magic wand and you could have everything work the way you want. In 5 years, where will a Onua World be?
Actually, we're selling in Canada. My biggest goal is selling this garden to other countries also.
Mm,
Um, for me, each time we're selling a garden, for me, it's a way to teach or to help people to understand how our planet works. For
mm,
me, so as much I can sell, it could be, yes, in businesses, it could be consumer maybe later, because actually, of course, it's our few production, it's a high cost. So that's why our price point, it's quite high. But my goal is to be able to lower this and being able to sell to consumer eventually.
that's wonderful. So going back to your journey, I know that you have used your training to coach other businesses. What would you say to an entrepreneur with regards to the value of having a coach? Because I know you've coached, but have you benefited from coaching yourself?
Um, that's a great question. Okay. Um, what I used to say to my clients, okay, I've been business coach for almost 7 to 8 years, kind of. Okay. And when I had a client saying, well, why, Martine, would I go and hire you as a coach for my business? What I tell him is, okay, maybe this is your second business, maybe this is your first business, which is great. But I've been coaching more than 100 businesses in different, market, different industries. So I will bring with me a coach, bring with with him or with her all that experiences. And for me, even if there was a period of time I wasn't a coach, and when I saw something somewhere is working very well, why not sharing to someone else?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean because you used to coach, let's say, manufacturing industry, and then you have a clinic call you. It doesn't mean you're not, you allow to take the best what you saw in manufacturing and bringing to a clinic. Why
It's
not?
transferable.
Exactly. So that's why, and yes, today I have two friends of mine. They're really great business type of people, and I used to share with them. And I'm a type of person, and I'm sharing. I was like that when I was coach, and I'm still like this as the owner of business. So I have a sales rep working with me, and he's much younger than I, and he brought new idea. He brought new, software, new apps, and all that. So I says, okay, I have to get along with that. But that was a great idea, and yes, it's much efficient, and so I go ahead with that. So share, it's one of biggest word for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I heard also that this idea of having kind of like a board of advisors, having people that you can talk to, bounce ideas with, and get suggestions. Because you're right, when we are running a business, we almost have like tunnel vision. We're so focused on our particular niche, our particular, day to day, that
That's right.
it's hard to get a big perspective. It's hard to go out and see things from a different point of view. And I think one of the common things I hear from clients is it's nice to have a fresh perspective. It's nice to have ideas that come from someplace else, come from
Yes,
outside, or
exactly.
just have somebody to question me, someone to say no, or someone to say why, right? So that because sometimes when we're so into it, we don't stop to say maybe this isn't the right thing to
Exactly. You're absolutely right. And keep your mind open.
do.
I never done any website before.
Mm,
I always paid someone to do my
right,
website,
right.
but this one I did it myself.
Wow.
Someone says, Martin, you have the capacity to do it. Forget it. And she said, yeah, do it. Jeez, yes, I done it. I'm proud of it, but I did it.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So
you learn
keep,
a lot. You learn
oh
a lot when
yeah,
you do it yourself. But there's a
exactly.
fine line between, what's the best application of your time for sure.
Yeah.
This has been amazing. So as we come to the conclusion of this, um, what would you like people listening to this to take away from like your lessons, but also from your personal experience about entrepreneurialism? Like, so what would you say would be the number one thing you learned as an entrepreneur, that, let's say, if you could go back to the beginning, to your first business, knowing what you know
Hmm.
now, right? You went
Yeah.
back, what would you tell yourself? What advice would you give yourself?
Keep going. Okay.
Lâche pas.
Exact. And listen and observe. We are people. Okay. We are energy. So when you do something, you always have feedback somehow, whatever. So listen and observe those feedback and go with those feedback.
I love it.
So if you go in a certain direction and nothing, there's no doors open, okay? And you knock at those doors, it doesn't open, well, okay, step back and then knock to another door, try something else, and then you're gonna hit it. You're gonna succeed,
I
of
love
course.
it. So listen to your customers or your prospective customers, listen to your suppliers, listen
Yeah,
to your finance people who are funding you, and listen to your employees, of course, right? And
exact,
every no has a lesson in it, right?
exactly. And know yourself also, you
Mm,
know, the life will bring what you are comfortable in.
mm,
I told you at the beginning, I start my firm, training firm. And at the beginning, I thought again that I were able to train individually people. And finally, I was offering my training to large law firm, accounting firm, and I was giving them the training about communication skills. Again, I thought that I was able to sell to consumer, but again, with Onua, I'm selling to business right now.
you're
So
still learning.
I'm more comfortable in the business type, business to business finally. So
Yeah.
Martin, go with that. So same
Well, the
thing.
universe is telling you something and you're listening, so that's good.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, Martine,
Yes.
this has been fabulous. I think that a lot of people will benefit from this conversation. The fact that you are a successful female entrepreneur. I know that when you got started in the business world, there weren't as many ladies in it as there are now. So you're a bit of a pioneer in that field. The advice you gave about being yourself and don't get hung up on stuff. Stay focused, don't give up. These are all very, very important lessons. And of course, matching your passion to your aptitudes, what you're strong in. I think this is
Yes.
all fabulous advice. So thank you
Yes.
so much. And I really look forward to, maybe stopping by in a year from now to see how things have improved and
Oh,
what new doors you've opened up at Onua World.
that would be great. Thank you very much, George. That was a pleasure to have a conversation with you.
Take care.
You too.